All right, well, we're back to the news and tariffs, right? So no bad news came in over the weekend, right? So the futures gapped up pretty significantly. As you guys can see, like we are somewhere in 75's area right now, but um, I don't know what's true, what's not, right? Nobody does, but they're announcing news as if everything is really good with China. They're going to make a deal. It can also be just one side of the story. So don't be married to a position until we see it, work out. I would say from bearish standpoint and bullish standpoint, is there anything that you guys need to watch out for when you look at the daily chart? So from a naked standpoint, right, chart, that is, we're making higher highs, right? You're consolidating here, consolidated here, and now you have a breakout level. So we're going again from balance to imbalance, back to balance, and now we're trying to go what? Back to imbalance, right? They're trying to run it higher. We had a really nasty candle based on the tariff news. Hey, we're gonna tariff you 100%. Never mind, we'll just make a deal with you. And that's the breakout level that we have now. You can see here on the volume here, that's called kind of bullish harami candle here on the daily. It was pretty equivalent volume on buying, and then eventually, you see the volume is kind of fading away as we're grinding higher, and now you have a breakout level. So what's important anytime you have these breakout levels is to find where was that struggle before, at what level, and that struggle was kind of here, right? So this was the balance that we were in for, I would say, how many days? Here we're talking about since September, what is it, 16th? So a little bit more, maybe almost a month and a half that we were in it, and now we got the breakout. So if you guys remember from the class, the most important point is, can you hold this? Because if you're trying to run away from the value, you should not really come back here and dance too much. You come back, test, and it should be a go-ahead. Like this would be a good long based on the model of acceptance, right? If you fail here, I think it's going to fail with potentially a new lower low as well. The key is going to be, can they hold this or not? Okay. Any questions on this so far?
Nope.
Okay. So this is our critical point. I will focus on this to be the pivotal level. If they decide to be nice and fill this gap at some point and give us that retest, that would be nice. And that would be a desired outcome for us. Let's go on 8 hours for just a moment. So this is current breakout level. If you guys look, this is live here on ETH. So if we do come back here, right, say this level is key for us, 812. Even though you have that prior day candle here, I wouldn't consider this a breakout candle, so I don't really care for it. Does that make sense? Because some people might say, well, this is a high, but then, you just gapped over it. So can you treat this level as important? Yeah, sure. You can definitely do that. But I'll rely on this major level here that was stuck and see how they behave around it. So now when you guys look at this, it's not a bad idea considering it's a 1026, right, to switch this on and look at the PVP kind of like monthly view. So here's your monthly view here. I'm just going to delete this zone here for a moment. What do you guys see here? Any concerns? Anything you want to, Mark is telling you, or?
Type value and it's
POC.
overlapping.
It's a very tight value, right? So participation here is interesting, right? You can see a lot of red volume or selling. Pretty aggressive, right? Not a lot of buying here on this run up. And now, you're above the value, right? You're running away from the value. That's what we were kind of talking about. But notice that somebody just called it out. This value here is overlapping on the top of this distribution here, of this profile, which is above the POC, right? And we traded a bit above the value here, and then we dumped, and then we went back. We're here. Compressed volatility, you're not able to go below this month's value, right? When you tried, you basically instantly stopped here. And then they figured that was a great opportunity. They bought it back up, and now they're out of it, right? So now when you look at this level here that we have for the monthlies in October, this is, I would say, if they're coming in here And if this is an opportunity for them to set traps, I would say this is probably their best opportunity here. Right? Because what do you guys see that can happen here? Let me put this in the box so you guys don't get it. What kind of trap can you have? So think about this. Like you go here when you offer a bounce, a lot of people are like, oh, you didn't break out, you can't hold it. And you could set something up like this, right? And it wouldn't probably look like that. It would be like this and then go. But that's something I would keep an eye on. Right? This is usually typically how it works out and plays out. If they have new blood in the market, they want to run it higher, this is the opportunity. So I would watch this zone probably as the most critical piece that you can have, right? And I would look for, some people call it look below and fail. That's kind of what this would look like as well. Okay. So monthly is important there. It's stacking on a, overlapping value. It's not stacked like it was here. The POC area, right? This one is going to be important, right? So as a bear, ultimately, if you can lose this area, the bloodbath really can start from here. You losing this area here would open up in search of value much lower, I would say. Probably somewhere around here would be a good stop, 6,000. But as of right now, obviously everything's bullish on the monthly. So if you switch it on the weekly,
Hey, Shorty, before you move on, why would it go that far down?
because you would probably not find the value here because you already visited it. There's a pretty high chance you're going to clean up these single prints, VPOCs on the monthly at some point, right? I would bet that it would be, I think it was one here somewhere around 6,000. Somewhere around here was a VPOC. Like right here. I guess this whole area is 1 month. So they would probably flush here. There's some value that was built here, but they supposedly found it here. Now it'd be another test, making that demand a little bit weaker than it was, right? They would revisit it and then see if they find the buyers there.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, so let me go here. So obviously we're outside of this, I wouldn't even honestly care too much about this value. You certainly can, but maybe this VPOC would be the only one that I keep an eye on. I would just put that on, because how would I not care? Does anyone understand that?
Because you're in the penthouse?
Well, I'm in the penthouse, I'm in the top. I could draw this, almost this from here onwards and see the value, right? And I can see that this value here is somewhere at 65. Losing this 65 here will probably accelerate down, but I wouldn't bet on it right now because all these news and tariffs are somehow getting a positive, outcome. So let's see. Honestly, I don't see much on the weekly besides this value that was created here. Skinny belly in between, so not much to gather from there. But we're in a massive bracket, so now if they fail here, this zone, then traversing all the way down to this level is doable. And then I think on the daily, it's really not gonna play a big role. So for me, it really doesn't change much. So if you think about this, you had a squeeze here, right? This is our breakout. And if you guys go on RTH, this might be kind of telling here. Does this look like a pretty good breakout to you guys? Pretty horrible.
No.
This is pretty horrible right here. Like, there's nothing there indicating that they wanted to go higher, but let's proceed. I would mark this prior day high where they failed multiple times. Just so you have it as a reference on your trade. And this is where we are right now. If they peak below here tonight, developing value, if they peak below this 65 and reclaim it, that's a good long overnight. But I will definitely see what they do at 41. And if they fail here, they will give us this pretty quickly. And if you guys look on ETH, what does it look like? It's here.
Skinny belly.
So if I
Single.
was, it'd be really single print. So let me turn on the TPO here.
So right to the top of that second distribution.
Yeah, and you see how nice this might work out here. You have nice overnight single prints right at the level, and then right at the bottom of it, you have that. So that skinny zone is here. So ideally, they give us this, and if they don't, man, I personally hate playing all-time highs like this because it's every day now. But you just have to be patient and look for setups. Right now, setups will be long, and on if they revisit here, if they fail, you will know quickly, and you can close that trade, take a loss, and then you will flip to bear side, right? That's the plan in this zone here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. When would you go short when it fails? Because I suck at my entries.
So I would typically, it depends on price action, right? If I see that the angle that they're coming down is like this, slicing at a pretty sharp and quick decline, if they give me a retest of any sort on that drop, I would take it. So I would monitor how's this drop, and if this drop is like, let me give you a different scenario. If this drop is like, and then they do something like this, and then they were, you know, they quickly bounce inside within minutes, I'm not gonna take that short. That's a trap, most likely, and they're gonna look to destroy somebody on the short side. So I want to see what angle is it coming in, right? Is it coming in initially from a period and it's just slicing down with volume? Or is it a zigzag down and then they flush to get the liquidity? Somebody go on mute, please. Or they flush like in a slow fashion, flush, get the liquidity, and then go. Does that make sense? And typically I want it, you know, I want some volume pickup on a candle that does break a key level.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I think that's it from my side. I think it'll be maybe a difficult day just because an overnight, if they give you this level, this is a go ahead and go long level, guys. And I'm gonna watch it here probably for another 2 hours and see, leave an order somewhere at 12, leave another one maybe at 5, and then I'll put my stop loss probably, I would say here, and see if I can catch the drive higher. And
Where
if
would
you
you
just
target?
draw some fibs here. So the best thing you can do here is when you have a balance like this, honestly, is just use standard deviations to get the new targets. Just enable 1.5. We don't need you. So that's pretty funny that 1.5 was right on the level. So I would target 6.948. I don't know. Pretty cool.
You're a freaking genius, Shorty.
That'll be the target. That was luck up at the end of levels there. I did have a long-term level there about 69.88. If you guys remember from a while back, like major fibs. So if you guys go back, I think it was here actually. Yeah, it was definitely here. It was 69 something. So let's see. We'll do extensions. Right there, 69.84. That was my long-term level I've been targeting forever. So it'll be interesting to see if they hit this here. All right. I'm probably gonna do a watch list tomorrow along with the stock scan. I did run it this morning a little bit. I did see some interesting stocks. I am monitoring this stock just so you guys know this Circle Internet Group. They do a lot with stable coin, so I am monitoring this to see if I can get some shares on it. Ideally, I want to catch it somewhere in this range, 100, 102. Anywhere between maybe 106 to 102. I wouldn't mind getting some discount here because this looks pretty prime to run. There's a lot of talks about stablecoin.
I think somebody in the chat thing about PLTR.
PLT1. Yes. I wouldn't short it yet. I mean, if you scalp the short, great, but yeah, I wouldn't mess with it. Not worth. You're predicting here not too much. If they crack this, they can just continue going higher. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye
Good
bye.
night, everybody.
Thanks, Shorty.